Hey, welcome to the Broken Skull Sessions. My name is Stone Cold Steve Austin. My guest on the show today is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Mark, it's good to see you.
What's up, man?
That's the man's handshake right
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir.
How are you?
I try not to squeeze because I don't want no lawsuits.
No. You ain't gonna worry about squeezing my hand. What have you been up to?
Well, man, I'm doing radio now with SiriusXM. Got a show called Busted Open. And, between that and working on The Life and Times of the World's Strongest Man, the book that hopefully I'll have finished in the next year. So I've been pretty busy.
Going back to your Busted Open radio show, which has been highly successful, you and David LaGreca.
Yeah.
You guys break down everything, and now being a Hall of Famer, what are your thoughts now on the state of how everything is going, versus when you and I were still, well, you lasted longer than I did. We're kind of running roughshod.
You know what, Steve? I feel blessed that I was actually able to last longer than you. And I know you had injuries that took you away, and that was horrible for the business. Same thing with, several other guys that critical injuries happened. So I think by the grace of God, I was lucky too, but I was more blessed to be able to stay in the business for 23 years. I love the business, and I want to see the business go on and be better than it was when we were there. I think that it has the potential to be in the future, but you have these 15-year shifts. About every 15 years, there's a big turnover in wrestling. And it takes about another 5 years for those new talents to become a Steve Austin, to become a Mark Henry. And I think that's where this transitional phase right now, if you want to call it that, is where we are right now. I look at Drew McIntyre and in the position that he's in right now, a lot of that is because he's matured. And they have about 10 more guys that need to mature. And that just comes
But that comes with seasoning, and it comes with time, and it comes with more reps.
Yeah, and I think that now they're able to get those reps because the big shows and Shawn Michaels of the world are gone. And they're having that opportunity to get all of those mainstream reps, those main event reps, the 20 and 30 minutes, 40 minutes on the show to prove that they are the cream of the crop, if you will. And like we said, it's just going to take time for that to happen.
How do you watch the business now? Do you watch it, hey, as a fan?
As an analyst?
Okay, that's what I'm asking, because sometimes if I just take myself out of it and say, hey, man, forget the fact that you were in since 90, even though I had to retire from the business, I'm still that guy, right?
Right.
Still know it. Now I'm able to remove myself from the equation and watch as a fan, or just try to enjoy it rather than analyze it. Before your radio show, how are you breaking stuff down? How do you separate everything?
I watch the show as a fan. And I guess prime example is I love the Mandy and Otis thing going on. I look at it like a fan. It's hard for me to like Dolph Ziggler because of what's going on in the story. I know who Dolph Ziggler is, but damn, what a bastard.
Yeah.
I've been a big guy that liked the girl, and then this young, skinny, pretty boy sneaks in and takes the girl from me, and it brought all that back. And that's the thing about pro wrestling is I want to look at it as a fan. I'll analyze it afterwards. I usually have to watch the show twice because I'm caught up in being a fan that I miss things that I need to kind of report. Hey, this is not good, or this is good. And I don't do the dirt sheet stuff.
Right.
Like, I hate that. I don't want to discuss the inner workings of what it is that we do. The magic is important to me. There's some stuff we just got to keep to ourselves.
Take me back to growing up in Silsbee, Texas, and just coming up and starting to get involved with weightlifting and, playing football. You said you were never the chosen one. You had a brother that was kind of doing a lot of things and excelling in a lot of things, but you were never the chosen one. So tell me about life growing up for you as a kid and losing your father at the age of 12.
Yeah.
And
Lost my
that's
dad at 12.
Impact on you.
It made a big impact, because you tend to want to have mentorship. You want to have somebody that kind of leads you in the direction that you feel like a man should go in. And that's one of the reasons why I do a lot of mentorship type things. But to answer your question, my dad died My mom, remarried. I didn't get along with my stepfather, and I started to rebel. If you said go right, I was going left. I'm just gonna tell you straight off the bat. That's exactly where it was. And it didn't help
Yeah.
that my brother was not only Clark Kent, but he was Superman. Student body president, salutatorian of the school, an All-American football player. A lot of the reason that I had so many problems in my early career is that chip on my shoulder of trying to prove to everybody that I measured up.
What was the age gap between you guys?
It was only 2 years,
Okay.
but I felt like he was the chosen one, and I had to prove to everybody that I was somebody too. And rather than doing it by the rules, I was on the other side of the coin.
When was it that you said, hey, Mom, I got to have this weightlifting set?
I was 12 years old, and my mom bought me one of those DP for life. You remember the
Yes, sir.
concrete weights?
Yep.
Had the little bars that bent after about 3 weeks.
1-inch bar, plastic case.
Plastic casing. And
Is that the house you
yeah,
grew
that's
up
my
in?
house I grew up in. That's Jacob, and that's Joanna. And me and all my friends used to sit on that porch, and we lifted every day. There was no days off. Everybody knew that I was different because of the way that I used to handle things. And, we talked about my dad. My dad, a lot of my toughness came from him. He used to put bricks, cinder blocks, in the bottom of his trash to keep the dogs from knocking his trash cans over.
Right.
And I was kind of lazy. So rather than taking the trash and putting it on this little wheelie thing and reeling it out to the street, I would grab the handles. You remember those old metal garbage cans?
Yes.
I would grab the handles, and then I would put them on my back like this, and I would walk with them. And it used to amuse the hell out of him that look at this boy do this. And I remember saying, why you don't never tell Pat to take the trash out, to my older brother?
Yeah.
And he'd punch me. I mean, it was different back then.
It was.
But it took him 2 years before we sat on his porch and him say, I'm sorry. I didn't know what he was talking about. It had been 2 years. And he started crying. It had to be tough. I was learning that the world was not going to hand me anything. If I wanted it, I had to take it. I wish he would have said, just stay within the law. Because I became so overly aggressive that there was a lot of people that didn't want their kids around me. I appreciate the tough love now. But as a little kid, you don't know
Right.
the difference. You just think that's the way everybody is. My strength is an extension of how I see the world. I wanted to win. I wanted to be somebody.
In those formative years, did you start running with the wrong crowd? Did you start at
Steve, I was the wrong crowd.
Oh, okay.
Once I realized I was stronger than everybody and I didn't mind getting hit, I became a problem. It was like, you don't have your kids over there around them Henrys. They're gonna go to jail or something's gonna happen. And I had a brother who was Superman who, for 2 years in high school, we didn't speak, walking in the same house. It was just this rivalry. He was the anti-me. You had Superman and Lex Luthor living in the same house.
But y'all took that for a shoot.
Yeah, we hated each other. It was bona fide hate. And he thought I was lazy, which, come to find out that my school troubles was the fact that I was dyslexic, just undiagnosed.
Right.
It wasn't that I was lazy, it was that I just didn't understand what was going on. I used to write backwards, like whether it's a word I can write backwards or a context. Steve Austin has a show that's very successful. In my mind, I would be like, Steve Austin has a show that's really successful. But I would write like the show Steve Austin successful show.
Right.
Like just make basic little mistakes. I could do math in my head, but I couldn't put it on paper. Teacher would be like, well, how did you get that answer? I did it in my head. Who'd you cheat off of?
Yeah.
Now, you telling me I cheated? And the asshole in me would come out, and then it was...
Okay, but going to the weightlifting competition, you start traveling around, you're winning everything by leaps and bounds. All of a sudden, there's a guy named Terry Todd. Terry Todd, for those who don't know, is very famous.
That's Terry.
Yeah.
Terry said, you need to quit playing football and quit track, everything that I was doing. He said, if you specialize in just powerlifting and Olympic lifting, he said, you'll be world champion so many years that, you know, it'll be boggling to the mind. So I decided to do it. I moved to Austin, Texas, and started training with Terry and Jan full time. And the Olympic Committee called and said, hey, we want you to come to the Olympic Training Center and focus on Olympic lifting. That's what I did. I moved to Colorado Springs and then started my Olympic journey.
How did all of your Olympic experiences affect you as far as just fulfilling your competitive desires and you reaching your potential?
I felt like I did the best that I could do, you know, within the rules. I was not going to take steroids and join the club, if you will. There were guys that told me, man, stop complaining about the steroids because they're going to take the sport out of the games. And I was like, I don't care. I'm still going to lift, whether it's in the Olympic Games or not. It's going to be for the love of the sport, and it's going to be the fact that I'm doing the best that I can do without considering competing against people that are cheating. And the Olympic Committee made promises that they didn't keep. And thus, after the 96 Olympic Games, I said, I'm not going to do it no more. If the Olympic Committee is not going to help me, I'm not going to be out here helping them. Then I get the call from Vince McMahon.
So how did that all happen?
Vince called Terry Todd and got my phone number and called me at the training center. And mind you, I was a big-time wrestling fan still. About 6 of the guys that were at the training center with me, they watch wrestling with me every Monday night. So I'm thinking, hey, Mark, phone call. All right, I come down the hallway. We got a community phone. Hello, this is Vince McMahon. Hey, how you doing? Okay, Wes. Click, hung up on him.
Oh, no.
And then I get a call.
No one believes when Vince McMahon calls him.
I see the way he calling.
You know, so many people have hung up on him because it's a rib, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So Terry calls, and they like, Mark, the phone. I answer the phone. Hello? What? Oh, Mark, I suggest you take his call. Okay, my bad. All right, hang up. And I'm standing there by the phone now, and I'm shaking. I ain't afraid of nothing. Steve, this is me. I'll fight a bear with a switch. And I'm shaking. And because of my fandom, how much I loved it. And the phone rings. I grab the phone. I mean, it's not even finished ringing. Hello? He's like, Mark Henry? I was like, I'm sorry I hung up. I thought it was one of my friends. He said, oh, don't worry about it. And just said, man, look, I hear you're a big wrestling fan. I was like, yes. And he was like, I want you to come to Connecticut and see how we do stuff. And I was like, you know how you get to where you start looking in every direction, you don't know what to do with yourself. That was wrestling for me. Like, wrestling saved me.
So did you fly?
I fly to Connecticut, man, and man, I got to meet The Undertaker. I got to meet Yokozuna. And then they told me, this is the way we do business. Our young guys take care of our old guys. Yokozuna needs somebody to drive him to the shows. That's you. So I was Yoko's bag carrier, driving to the shows. And it was the best part of my whole career. Over winning the championship.
Driving Yoko.
Driving Yoko treated me like royalty. He was one of them guys, if he said something, like you could believe it was the truth. He was like the most honest guy I ever met.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun. Took me to my first strip club. I love Yoko.
You don't drink, you don't take drugs.
Don't drink, don't smoke, don't take drugs.
That was the one thing. Is
I just don't do it.
but that was the one vice. Keep sanity on the road.
Yeah, man. Like I would go on the road, man, go to strip joints with Yoko and other guys, and just like this actually exists. Like, oh my God! Like, you know, this young kid just got ruined real quick.
Okay, but when Vince takes you up there and says, okay, you're going to be driving Yoko around, and okay, now you're under this learning tree. But had you started training yet? And was that when you signed that big time contract that, you know, got you some heat with some of the boys?
A lot of the boys. Like, I mean, even now, I guess if I'm still wrestling, they bring a guy in that's never wrestled a day in his life, and they pay him twice as much as I'm getting paid, I'm going to be pissed. So I can understand it.
Yeah.
And Vince probably could have did a better job of not telling nobody. I wasn't going to tell nobody.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it got out, and it just put a bad taste in people's mouths. Nobody wanted to train me. Nobody wanted to teach me. They hired Dr. Tom, who I still consider one of the top 5 trainers in the world.
Yep.
Him and Rip Rogers, number 1, number 2 on my list of guys that understand the business and can teach you in layman's terms, but also still get in there, put their hands on you, and say, no, this is not how, and teach you everything, all the measurables. And I worked with Tom for about 6 months, and then Dwayne The Rock came in. You know, he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together and couldn't afford an apartment by himself. So I told him to move in with me. You know, he lived with me for about 6 months, and then we got sent to Memphis, you know. two young kids driving the streets.
Who would have figured way back in the day?
Look who was driving.
Yeah.
Get over there and drive, kid.
Is that what you told him? And Edward's sitting there talking. He's the
he
number
was
1
scared
movie
to
star in
drive
the
with me
world.
because I'm like the White Knuckle Express. I drive 100 miles an hour. I turn 2-wheel motion, everything. He was like, listen, I'm driving. You're not going to kill me.
I didn't know you was a fast driver.
Oh, God. That's
Hey,
my
but try to
thing.
talk about fitting in the early days, because you got Dr. Tom training you, so you got some other people helping out. But, you know, you're coming from an elite world where you're treated as that guy because you were, and you were just a powerhouse. All of a sudden you come into the world where you're a fan, but you don't know really what's going on.
Oh, God.
And they had a big marketing strategy for you already built in. I mean, they had red, white, and blue everything's coming in off the Olympics. I remember all the stuff because I was there when you came in. I said, man, they're about to put a rocket on this big guy's ass and shoot him to the moon.
I love the fact that they pushed it, but I wish almost in a perfect world that first year, rather than my first match be a pay-per-view and, you know, put me out there where I succeeded, but at the cost of not integrating me with the boys. Now the developmental system is flawless, and you don't have that. Away from the main roster, everybody knows there's a developmental system. They make this amount of money, and it has no bearing on what's going on here, which it really does, but they're not interfering with what's going on the show. Nobody's coming up here and gonna take your job. And I wish that I would have had a year at least, completely away from everybody. And then you could bring me in once a month or so. Hey, how you doing? Shake everybody's hand, Mark. Go meet everybody. Go to production office. Know everybody's name before you leave there. Go to merchandise. Go meet this guy. Jimmy Miranda, he tried. God bless him.
Yeah,
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He tried to help me, but I was just such a wreck at that point.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could hear people talking behind my back, and the asshole came out. my defense mechanism was to step outside and say that. And he's like, man, what's wrong with you? Like, are you crazy? No, I just want to fight you because I don't like the way you look. And I just became that asshole and nobody wanted to help me. I told you the first time that I met Taker, he was sitting there talking to Yoko, and I walked up and he said, oh, there's the new baby face. And I was like, I'm not no damn baby face. Like, what is that? I was so ignorant to the business. I didn't know what the terminology is. None of that was.
Maybe he was sliding you.
I felt like he was slighting me somehow. But I had that,
Yeah.
don't mess with me type of thing. And people didn't really know how to take it. You know, it was like, it was best to not talk to me. And in wrestling, if I don't talk to you, you don't learn.
Yeah.
So I had a 3-year period at the beginning of my career where I just didn't learn shit.
How old were you when you first entered WWE?
27.
So when you entered the business, you just come from being the world's strongest man. So you're the best of the best. And all of a sudden you're going into a locker room of guys that are in the business that you're trying to learn.
Everything I did in my life didn't mean shit. But I got really lucky, man, that Taker liked me. And the BSK guys, Kishi and Yoko and all of them, they took care of me.
Yeah, but what about the ribbon that you got early on from Ron Simmons and JBL? Because it's a classic story where they were trying to bring you in, but you didn't know that they was trying to bring you in. And it was the way that was rubbing you the wrong way because you didn't see what they was doing.
I never been ribbed before. I came from Silsby where people were already afraid of me.
Yeah.
And even if they weren't afraid of me, they respected me.
Yeah.
I went to Austin, automatic respect. Went to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, won, hardly ever lost. I lost 3 lifting competitions in my entire life, and 2 of them were Olympic Games. And one was when I was 18.
Yeah.
I won a lot. Respect. I got the wrestling, it was like, man, people started ribbing me, like putting all my clothes in a bag and throwing it in the shower and turning all the showers on and putting padlocks on my luggage. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is happening? And I was entertaining, not just on television. The entertainment was in the locker room because if you mess with me, like, Steve, I would tear this place apart. And guys were like, you want to see something funny? And then they would pick on me.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. John was the pawn.
Yeah.
And Ron Simmons was such an asshole to me with that.
You went on record last time I was down in Austin, Texas, saying Ron Simmons may be the only human being on the planet that you might be a little bit afraid of.
At that time, he was the only person I ever thought, like, how would I do it? Like, everything was premeditated, Steve. I would look at him, and Ron caught me looking at him one time. And he was like, what you looking at me like that for? You finna try me? And I went, no. Hell no. Like, he scared the shit out of me. And I was like, no, sir. I was just, admiring your build. Ron was one of those guys that was like the puppet master of me learning how to be a big man in wrestling. And he was like, if you're gonna be in this nation, you need to be able to do everything. That was the beginning. It was like, you talk about the rocket, it took 3 years for that really to happen.
Right. What about being in the Nation of Domination helped you? Because, I mean, you got kind of the ultimate learning tree there. Ron Simmons has been around. He's a veteran. Godfather's got 1,000,000 stories. He's been around. You with The Rock. You got D'Lo. Talk to me about how you fit in there, what you took from those guys.
Man, everybody had a different element of teaching for me. The Godfather didn't know that he was going to be in the Nation until the day that he got to the arena. He got to the arena one day and they said, hey, we're going to put you in the Nation.
That's a strong picture there.
That's very strong. D'Lo was probably the best worker of all of us. I remember they said they wanted to have you do something to me or D'Lo on top of this truck. And D'Lo said, I'll do it.
Here comes D'Lo. Yeah! Oh, good God!
And you gave him a backdrop.
Yep.
And I was so glad that it was him and not me. I was like, holy shit. Oh my God. But D'Lo, man, he could work like Malenko for a 285-pound guy at the time. And Dwayne is the most studied guy that I was ever around. Meticulous notes. Always practicing something that he was going to say, using it on you in the car, at a restaurant, in a hotel. Like, man, will you let it rest? Like, give me a break. Like, can we eat? You know, it was like he was consumed with wrestling in a way that other people weren't consumed with wrestling. And Ron Simmons, Ron was your typical father figure for all of us and wouldn't take no shit off of none of us. You know, even Godfather was near the same age, but he talked to him just like he talked to us. Like, guys, look, this is what the business requires. Until you learn that the business comes before your selfish little piece of shit idea, you won't succeed. You don't listen to me, or you can get out of this. Like, you mean the WWE? You gonna kick us out? No, fool, the nation, because it was his.
Right.
And you just listen. And he never led you wrong. Not one time did I ever do anything that Ron Simmons told me to do that was wrong. Never. And everybody in that line right there will tell you the same thing. He just was brilliant mind for wrestling, as well as a awesomely built and athletic human being. Like, I mean, the guy was retired at Florida State football.
Yeah.
And there was nobody else retired. I mean, you look at all the people that ever came through Florida State University, he's the first. Speaks volumes.
Yeah, to this day, he's still revered at Florida State University.
He is.
Everybody knows Ron Simmons is the
Yes,
man there.
as probably the best player to ever play there, and Deion Sanders went there.
You're trying to forge an identity. Was this when the sexual chocolate stuff came right after the run with the Nation?
Well, the Nation split up, and I resorted to some of my badness, I guess, if you will. During that time, I broke my ankle. I was frustrated, and somebody hid my crutches. And when my crutches got hid, you know, around that time, Shawn Michaels, the Clique, the guys, they came up and were like, man, what happened to your crutches? And I just went off on them. And didn't go over very nice. And Vince sent me to Canada to kind of, you know, let the heat blow away and for me to be not around TV, so I'm pissing them guys off. I meet Leo Burke and I start training, and I meet Owen Hart and Bret Hart, and I started, you know, kind of babysitting Bret's kids and, you know, just letting him and his wife go have a break while I, you know, work with the kids. And
You babysitting the kids, making spaghetti and
yeah,
all
man,
kinds
we
of stuff.
cooking and having a good time. I love being in that environment, but then it came time for me to come back.
But while you were down there, though, you went down there and learned a few wrist
learned how
locks
to-
and handholds from Stu
From
Hart.
Stu.
And that's kind of like, you always knew there was a place for strength in wrestling.
I
But
didn't know, but Stu knew. And Stu was like, you know what, there's a lot of things that you can do with your strength that, boy, you could really put people in a bad way. And he started stretching and choking the shit out of me for like about 2 months.
Yeah.
And I started to actually like learning how to do the holds and locks. And I just took what he taught me and added it to my style. And when I went back, I was like, I'm gonna be this monster. I'm gonna be choking people. I'm gonna be doing this. And then I got in the car with Dwayne and D'Lo, and it just all changed. It was like the WWE was going back to being more entertaining and they wanted characters. And I was like, you know what, man, I got this idea of being this kind of ladies' man. And they like, whatever. And I was like, no, I mean, call myself Sexual Chocolate, hang out with the ladies. D'Lo was like, there's no way that they're gonna let you call yourself Sexual Chocolate. And I'll be damned, they liked it. And well, there you go. Sexual Chocolate, hanging out with the ladies. Ended up holding the title, getting the European title, and that was the beginning of Mark Henry being an actual viable commodity in the business, because Vince would see me when I came to the arena and he'd go, we're gonna do this today. And you know, you see Vince all giddy and everything, you like, I don't care what he's said do, I'm doing, because he's excited.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. We had a ball doing Sexual Chocolate.
I got this picture right here. What was it like working with Mae Young?
Listen, she has a tattoo on her forearm of an anchor. And not many ladies walk around with a tattoo with an anchor, like a sailor on her arm. She was a tough woman. And she told me a story one time of her in Dallas and a guy coming, hey, we got a place for you to dress over here, but not in the locker room. She was just gonna dress in the locker room with the boys.
Yeah.
He said, play your cards right. After the matches, I'll take you out. And she's like, well, I mean, you might want to zip your pants up and, you know, you're in front of a lady. And the dude looks down to zip his pants and she kicks him in the balls and stomps the shit out of him and was like, you're going to respect me. Like, she would not take people disrespecting her. And she carved the way for all these women that are doing great in wrestling world now. Like, that lady right there is one of those that, you know, set the path.
So I've taken it that you enjoyed working with
I
her.
enjoy working with her so much, Steve. I learned a lot. You know, she always told me stories, and when we rode together, she did a lot of sleeping, and I got to listen to whatever I wanted to listen to. But I had a ball, man. She was special.
I got to ask you, when you're driving her down the road, you wasn't doing your white knuckle special driving 100
Yes,
miles an
I
hour.
was, and she never sold it.
Really?
She never sold it. Never said a word to me about the driving. You know how many times I got pulled over, Steve? I mean, I got pulled over at least 20 times in my career. And I only got one ticket in all those 20 times. I talked my way out, talk paint dry, Steve. I was not going to get a ticket.
I love it.
We have been told that Mae Young is in labor. Oh, my God.
Nice.
Oh,
One Gerald Briscoe. Where's Gerald?
Oh, my God.
He's vomiting.
Was that a shoot?
The shoe.
Come on, let's give me
Hey, take me in the room. Take me in the room when who pitched this to you?
Oh, Bruce Pritchard and Vince. And I'm asking Vince, I'm like, Vince, why a hand? And he goes, it was a hand. And just laughed this evil, hysterical laugh. And I'm like, I still to this day, Steve, don't get why a hand.
I don't either.
Man, there's no comedy that I've ever watched in my life that was funnier than that day. And if you watch me, I'm laughing the whole time. I mean, it was just, oh my God, I couldn't even do my job. I'm trying to look like I'm worried about her, but I'm just laughing.
But he was fully on board with that. And when he gets fully on board with something, he's going to push it to the moon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's one of the things I like about Vince, because he gets so excited about stuff. When he starts dancing and going through the motions, he's really feeling the character.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's things like that. I mean, the 20 by 20, the squared circle, that's kind of proving ground. You know, when you're going to display your craft, put on a match, you know, like, you know, the Hall of Pain. I mean, that was where you were enforcing everything that you were as a force in the wrestling industry. It's those character building moments, those skits or vignettes that are the icing on the cake that can further.
That make people care.
Exactly.
It's not about the winning and the losing. It's about I like Mark Henry now. Man, that was cool.
Yeah.
Why are you hurting him? Now I can reach to the crowd like, help me. And they feel me. I get people reaching back. I would have guys that when I was the heavy and guys would be selling, like, I was like, man, start crawling, reaching toward the camera because that's who you're trying to reach. That's where you get people emotionally, and people, you're going to get 20,000 maybe in that arena, but you're going to get 5 million at home. And
Right.
I just wanted to make sure that people were emotionally invested in everything I did because it made it easier. You didn't have to climb up to the top of the Tron to get over
Yeah.
if they
100%.
cared.
Exactly. How much fun were you having at that point, and were you starting to come into a really good understanding of the business?
Yeah, I was having a ball, Steve. That was probably the most fun that I had had to that point. And even more than me having fun, I started to feel the business. In Star Wars terms, the force became strong with me. If I had to be in there 7 minutes, nobody had to tell me the time. I could feel the time. And when it got to 6 minutes, it was like, this needs to be fast, explosive, and I want everybody's attention right here, right now. And I was able to do that. And I didn't mind putting myself in position for other people's success, which is the lost art of pro wrestling.
Explain that.
The lost art of pro wrestling is sacrificing yourself to accentuate somebody else to get them over. And it's in the process of getting somebody else over, you get yourself over. It's not always who goes over, it's who gets over. I've gotten over in losses and been more important than guys that have won and got titles.
Agreed completely.
It's an art form. You have to study it, and you have to really love the business more than you love what's going on with your individual character.
What about the angle with China?
That was like the best part of being Sex with Chocolate is the dealings with China because my whole goal was to make her laugh.
And between you two?
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get her today.
Yeah.
I got something, I'm gonna tell her this joke, or I'm a sweet talker. And she was like, Mark, it's not gonna work. Will you stop it? And I'm like, but I love you. And she's like, I don't love you. And I'm like, I'm gonna get her one of these days. And it took a while, but I finally was able to get her. And once I got her once, it was like, all I have to do is just look at her. And she would start laughing, and it was real.
Yeah.
That's why everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Is because between us, it was real, Steve. We took it to a point to where it wasn't just pro wrestling. Like, it was two people that loved what they were doing, and we were sharing it with the rest of the fans.
Yeah.
Just get this over with, Mark.
Look, we're gonna have a good time. I mean, you'll be thanking me by the end of the night. Dinner's gonna
Some
be
of your award-winning work.
God, don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Johnny, wow, come on, man. Don't be like that. We're gonna have a good time. First class, limo.
D-Lo?
No.
No, that's not D-Lo.
I don't know.
I tell you, have fun.
I was having a ball.
She was one of the sweetest people I ever knew because I had a great relationship with her as well. When I'd see her at the show and I'd give her a hug, she was the silliest person in the world and a great sense of humor. And I wish she was still with us, but that was some television gold.
Man, she like you said, there was nobody I knew that was sweeter than her.
I
I
agree.
mean, she was really, really sweet. And I think that under different circumstances, she would still be here. I think that she just got frustrated with the business. And it's happened with all of us. You get frustrated and disenchanted, and some people just make the wrong decision and go down the wrong road.
Hey, before we get to some action down there in OVW, it was at the Brian Pillman Memorial Show. You got a little bit of validation.
Yep.
And you had a match, and this is one of the first times that, coming through all your struggles, people ribbing you, maybe not fitting in, and you had a really good match, and Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time, Ricky Steamboat, came and said some words to you. And how did that help you?
It helped me tremendously. In wrestling, we always say you got to learn to eat and like it. You got to get broke down a lot before they build you up. And I have been beat down so much that I was at the brink of, like, man, I'm done with wrestling. Like, I'll always be a fan, but I'm finna go back and try to play football again. And it just so happened in a perfect world, Hugh Morris at the time was at WCW, and he was running the same thing as I was running. He had made a few mistakes. He had been kind of like put over and then put on the shelf. And at the Pillman show, when Brian Pillman passed, I had met him 2 or 3 times and really liked him. He came up to me and asked me, how'd you gain all that muscle? How'd you, get so big? And I was like, man, I just eat a lot and I train a lot. And then he was curious about the training. And we probably talked 20, 30 minutes before he even told me his name. I really liked them. They just put me and Hugh together. Y'all go out there, 10 minutes, do whatever you want. Hey, just have a ball. All right. We sat and talked for a minute, and he was like, hey, man, I really need to shine. I'm on my last leg. I said, me too. And we devised this plan to steal it. And the only thing that I can equate it to was how I see Keith Lee work. 2 big 285 and 400-pound dude. We were out there leapfrogging, arm dragging, selling for each other. We did stuff that made sense for what we were as big guys. And after that match was over, the referee told us that y'all need to go and shake hands. And we shook hands and the crowd just went nuts. And we hugged each other and we walked out of the ring. We were sitting on the floor in the back, and Ricky Steamboat walked up and he said, man, it's good to see that psychology still exists in our business. And that was the first time that anybody ever included me in it's our business. And I just broke down. I'm super emotional. And I always say that if you see me crying, you need to either run or embrace me, because I'm at a critical point where I'm gonna go one way or the other.
Right.
It's a good crying. A lot of people sense weakness when you're emotional. I'm stronger when I'm emotional. I'm faster. I feel like I can jump higher. Man, like it's just something about it that makes me better.
I know there's a part in your career where you got sent down to OVW. Why were you sent back to OVW?
The time that I went to OVW was when I came back from Canada. And I came back from Canada and I gained probably 30 pounds. And I was about 420, 430. And they said, you need to drop some weight. And they sent me down there to get it together. And I was on a weight scale. And this is one of the pictures I got down from 430 to about 350, 345 at that time. I can fit into my Sexual Chocolate stuff, so that tells you how much weight I lost.
Right.
I just had to get my weight together and not eat like I was still powerlifting. I had to just cut it down.
I want to ask you about a time where you felt you were being disrespected by the strongman community because you were calling yourself the world's strongest man, and you were a professional wrestler, sports entertainer, and all of a sudden these guys start calling you out. And you're like, hey, man, I'm still that guy, and you went and had a conversation with Vince.
Yeah.
So tell me about how that went down, because, I mean, you put it all on the line here.
Well, literally. During that time, my mother had passed. I had been away from wrestling, and all I did was train. To take my mind off of the whole situation, I spent hours in the gym. I go to the gym, 1 o'clock after lunch, and I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back to the hospital to see my mom till about 4 or 5 o'clock. And during that time, I started to get all my strength back. I found myself in the gym with 5 guys going, hey, man, I need a spot. You know, I'm putting 8 wheels on and, you know, in a regular gym. I wasn't in a facility where it was safe for me to train that way. And Vince basically said, hey, man, just go away. You know, my mom died finally from cancer, and it was a tough time, but I got the time to deal with it. And right about that time, Muscle and Fitness has this article where these guys are, you know, doing these strongman shows, and like we're the real strongman, like not like Mark Henry, who's saying he's the strongest man in the world, but he don't compete. I'm sensitive. You know, I'm telling you, like my book should be entitled Too Sensitive, but that's not it.
Yeah.
But I was angry, and I went to Vince and I said, look, man, these dudes basically have said that I'm calling myself the strongest man in the world, and I shouldn't be because I'm not. And Vince said, well, we're sports entertainment, and you don't have to be. And I said, no, I do have to be. I was like, they have challenged me. Like, he's like, no, it's not. I said, Vince, I said, I need to go and I need to compete and win this thing, and then there will be nothing else to be said. And he said, well, I mean, you drawn the line in the sand. If that's what you want to do, then I'll give you the time to go see it. But I'm going to tell you, there's no place here for the second strongest man. All right, I get it. And I left there with the intent on destroying them dudes. And
Failure was not an option.
there was no option, and that's my whole life.
See, watch these guys. And describe this. That's the Apollon Wheel.
That's the Apollon
by
Wheel.
Mark Henry, breaking history.
And
You're looking at the strongest man. Mark
that's
Henry
why
from
Vince wanted me to
Texas.
wrestle, because he knew that I was more than a strongman. I was an entertainer.
Yeah.
I entertained when I competed. I was different. And for me to sit here and not sound arrogant is impossible when I say what I'm about to say. I'm the greatest strongman that has ever lived. And I did it clean, no cheating. God gave me something that other men didn't have. I'm very accomplished, and I love everything that I've ever done. But the number one thing is the fact that I realized that I didn't do it by myself. I always shared with people that deserve that attention. My coaches, my trainers, Vince McMahon, for having the vision of seeing me do that kind of thing and go, that dude should be wrestling. There would be no Mark Henry if he didn't say, man, that dude's entertaining.
Right.
So I give people credit where credit is due.
But one of the things that clip doesn't show, because that was a quick clip, when you go out there and you start snatching that thing up, it's like they're trying to no-sell you.
Yeah.
But in the back, if you look at everybody's faces, they're kind of stone-facing, but they're like,
Holy shit. What did I do?
really? Are you shitting me?
But even worse is if they had showed all of them try it,
Right.
and then you see me lift it.
Yeah.
It's me lifting it look like, oh, that's delicious. With them, it's like, and 6 of the 8 guys couldn't even get it off the ground.
So you come back in, and you're good with the world of strength.
I am. I'm back. I feel like I've said my part, done what I needed to do, and Vince, now I'm the strongest guy on earth. And Vince goes, no more sex with chocolate, no more of this, no more of that. You're the strongest man in the world. Go be the strongest man in the world in the ring.
So you went out and proved to the world that you are indeed the world's strongest man. And then along the way on the show Monday Night Raw, they included many of your feats of strength. This was one of the ones I think was very impressive. I think you can lead me through this and tell me what's up.
So everybody's, betting whether or not that this is going to happen. And Ron is the ringmaster. Like, listen.
He's going to back up against that wall. He's going to hold this big black ass limo in place for 30 seconds. 30 seconds?
So basically, someone's going to get in the limousine and you're going to get against the wall and put your legs against the front of the car and hold it back.
Right. And we sprayed a little WD-40 on the tires just so we can get a spin on the ground so it didn't grip.
Right.
And then once those wheels start spinning, I was able to hold it back.
But in this, weren't your feet starting to go through the grill?
Yeah, well, I started telling them to stop it. And once I started telling them to stop it, because I felt the grill crack and then it gave a little. And I mean, it was still going at this point. And that's when, like, he had to turn the key and just turn it off. I thought he broke the key off.
Right. So what happened when Terry Todd, your mentor, coach, saw this footage?
When I got a phone call, and this was in the zip phone. You remember the bag phones? Like, I felt like I came up, I bought me a bag phone. And I'm in the car driving to the next town, and I got told how stupid that was and how dangerous it was and what could have went wrong.
But that was impressive.
It was definitely one of those moments that when they put me in the ground, that people will say, did you ever see him hold that car back with his legs?
Hey, wasn't there an overseas tour where there was a car parked in front of the bus and you moved the car out of the way?
Yeah.
What happened then? I
You
remember
know,
someone
and-
telling that story.
You know, when in Blackpool, when that arena was downtown, and those little roads, the bus barely could get down those roads with the cars on both sides. And somebody had parked their car like where the edge of the car was in the road, and the bus couldn't, it would have T-boned the car. And they said, well, we had drove down that road probably a mile. So we were gonna have to either wait for somebody to come and move the car, or we were gonna have to back up and go another way. And mind you, it's 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, driving to the next town. And I just got mad, got off the bus and was like, where's the car? And grabbed the front of the car and lifted it, bounced it, and then threw the car over to where it slammed into the curb. And it was, I mean, like both the bumpers were going, it went like a brake stopping, and they were touching like that. And then I got back on the bus and Steve Regal was sitting in the front seat, and he was like, Henry, don't ever get mad and touch anybody. And just leaned over and went back to sleep. And I walked to the back of the bus, and I remember the next morning, all the guys, it was like I came to breakfast and it was just like, oh, it was like I entertained the boys.
Yeah, but it's one of the, because man, when you're, first of all, when you're anywhere, you're running late, but especially when you're overseas, and those days start adding up, and then some numbskull got their car parked in the road, so it's impeding your progress, and you just can't get to the next town.
I
to
was
get to
not going to
bed.
sit there and wait.
And like, I mean, I might have been able to pick up the car because I was so mad. I'm kidding you. But so it's like, it's just the little things like that. It's like, thank God someone was strong enough to move the damn car out of the way.
Oh, man.
At what point were you the most frustrated you've ever been in the business? Because, I mean, there was times when I was in those same shoes where I've had many moments like that, and then seemingly I was on top of the world.
I tore my knee up, and Dr. Andrews thought that I was never going to wrestle again. He said I'd never seen this much damage at one time, over years. But I tore my IT band, I tore my patella tendon, broke my kneecap in half, and tore my PCL all at the same time.
Doing what?
Being stupid. I had a match against Kurt Angle, and I was going to put him through a table, splash him through a table. but the leg broke off the table. And rather than throwing that table away and getting another table, I just propped it up on the wall, on the guardrail, and I jumped from the apron to the table and hit my knee square on the concrete. Boom, and broke my kneecap in half. And for about 2 or 3 weeks, my kneecap would get off center, so I would sit on the floor and I would let somebody step on it to pop it back into place. And I just kept wrestling. I was too stupid to stop and just go get surgery. So all that time, it was just sawing everything apart in there.
Okay.
And I took off running on TV against Rey Mysterio, and it just came apart.
Nobody home the quickness of the champion.
Boom, just everything. And tore stuff that probably wouldn't have torn if, I hadn't been running. And the kneecap sawed all the ligaments and tendons up. So I went, got it fixed, and I just felt like at that time, like, man, I'm never going to be champion. My career is going to be me just in the middle of the road. I made a little change. I can go and do something else and transition. I just felt like that was it.
Were you losing your passion for the business?
I was
Or were you
losing
just
it,
stuck
man.
in a rut?
I was losing it. I was stuck in one place, and I felt like it wasn't going to get better. And, man, I just started training again. It was like, get those calls, hey, you in the gym? Yeah, I'm in the gym. All right, I'll see you in a few weeks. And, just like stuff started getting better. And when I came back, I go in and have my first chance at a title match and got hurt again. Dislocated my shoulder, tore the labrum, had to go on the shelf again. And at this point, I really get it now. I really get it. And I come back from that, and now it's 2011, and I come back, and it's Hall of Pain time.
What instigated that? Whose idea was that?
Mostly it was Vince's. Pretty much the whole Hall of Pain era started with a rib. It was funny to go back to the beginning of my wrestling career. Vince ribbed me.
I love this story.
He took me out into the ring and said I was going to have a match against Sin Cara. And I'm standing there in the ring. Nobody comes out. I'm like, what the hell? I go to the referee, Scott Armstrong. I said, Scott, what's going on, man? Like, where is he at? And he's like, they rewrapping his knee. I think that's what they just told me. They rewrapping his knee. You got one more match left in you, ref? Now I'm pissed at Sin Cara, and if he came out, I was going to hurt him because I felt like this is disrespecting business.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting for Mark Henry's opponent, we would like to thank you all for being a part of this evening's event. We certainly hope that you enjoyed yourselves, and we look forward to coming back here sometime in the near future. Thank you.
Now I'm pissed. Jump through the ropes. I come to the back. It's a ghost town. Nobody's there. And I just start destroying it, tearing down and pulling the lights and punching the walls and just Darth Vader's. I just wanted everything to melt. And I go down the hallway and I kick Vince's door open. He's gone. And I come out, and then poor little Ryan Ward, one of the writers, is there. And I'm like, where are they? And he's like, Mark, I ain't have nothing to do with it. Like, they left. They going to the airport. I was like, start calling Vince. I was like, man, I quit. Like, this is the last time. Nobody ribs me. I'm a grown-ass man, yada, yada, yada. And I get home. My wife, of course, is like, look, you got bills to pay. You can't quit. And I was like, yes, I can. We did good. That's over. He don't respect me. And Vince calls, and he's like, man, why'd you get so bent out of shape about that? We were just playing. I was like, man, I don't deserve that. I was like, I love this business and I respect you and I feel like I opened myself up for you to disrespect me. I was like, it's obviously you don't respect me. You damn sure don't fear me, so we don't need to talk no more. And he was like, listen, I'm sorry. And he was really remorsefully sorry. He's like, look, I apologize. I don't want you to quit. You're too valuable to us. And you just got too much left to stop. And I said, I can't go through that again. I was like, that's a deal breaker. And he said, okay. And he said, but can I show you something? And I said, oh God, what's going on now? And he showed the footage of me in the ring, angry, and me coming back, and then the camera goes off, and it freezes, and it was like that. You ever seen that scene of the Sasquatch where they feel like they caught the Sasquatch in the wood? And that was where it ended. And he's like, that's the most visibly afraid I've ever seen on the screen in years and years. And he said, if you could do that in the ring, he was like, you make a lot of money. And I said, that guy will kill everybody. The business will be over. I can't control that. He said, yes, you can. And I learned something about myself. I learned that I can control my emotions better than I thought I could. And I was able to portray that hatred and that anger, that negativity, and thus the Hall of Pain was born.
You like this equipment? This equipment don't mean nothing to me. What does this do? What does this do? That don't do nothing. Where you think you going? You ain't going nowhere, boy. You understand that? Huh?
And I went through the rest of my career kind of being the monster.
But I remember you telling me when I was in Austin, Texas, when you watched yourself on screen, you couldn't believe that was you.
I didn't recognize.
You didn't recognize that guy.
No. I had never been that visibly angry in my life. And it was all the bad shit I did, the fights, nothing. If I'd have been that guy in a fight, I'd have killed somebody. And we wouldn't be having this conversation.
But also, you didn't know if you could control it, but there was one other factor where you also didn't want to perpetuate a negative.
Yeah, I've got to this point in my life, God found me. I didn't find God. Because I realized that there's some specialness to me. Little kids love me. I never met a kid that was like, as big and scary as I look to myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't want kids to see me like that. And I realized that I'm an entertainer. And I do TV and radio. And some of it is informative, but also there's me in there. I didn't want that negative stigma of big black dude scaring everybody. I realized that there is a balance. I have to let people be the judge of what they want their kids to see. And that, it gave me more of a solace and understanding that, I shouldn't be responsible. I should go out and do my job.
So in the Hall of Pain run, everything that you've been through, you're putting all the pieces together. You've channeled this anger or energy. You know how to harness it and use it in a positive manner. And so then it culminates in a world championship going against Randy Orton. What did finally being the world champion mean to you?
Validation. told the world and told the guys that I work with, everyone that was in the developmental process, to the fact that when I made it, to the point to where I was the guy that the show was structured around. That journey meant something, and that it was accomplished. You won. Like, everything that you did mattered.
RKO countered again.
Not just big
Mark Henry.
We going to school and it's all over with.
Mark Henry. Mark Henry is the world champion.
My whole life, man, I just wanted to win. I just wanted to succeed. I wanted to prove to people that I mattered. And that day I mattered. She was pissed. And I'm glad she was pissed. And I told them I was never gonna lose it, because the way championships work is once a champion, always a champion. They're never gonna say, oh, you lost, you can't be champion no more. No. Once you're there, you're always there.
The 15-year odyssey is over. Mark Henry is world champion, and all doubters and cynics be damned.
For the rest of my life, the 139 guys that held that title prior to me getting it, I was the 139th at that point. I'm listed in that name of 135 men throughout history.
You came to see me. Welcome to the Mark Henry era.
Winning a championship, going through a great match, going through a great program, when that referee hits a 3 count, and it's like that's the release, because, you know, then it's over, you accomplish the task at hand, and then it's that energy hits.
The fastest I ever recovered from a match in my life. Sometimes I would be huffing and puffing, and I would get to the back, and I'd put my hands on my legs, and I'd take a while to catch my breath. When the referee handed me that title, I went, I could have wrestled for another 30 minutes. I don't know why, but that was the proudest wrestling moment that I ever had. But it validated the fact that all the work that I did, all of the sacrificing.
But finally here, and getting validated a couple of times along the way in your career, like from the compliment from Steamboat at the Pillman Memorial, and from not being the chosen one to here, you are the chosen one.
So it was a wonderful feeling. And I can't explain to you what it felt like, even though I know you know what it felt like. And if I said, Steve, how did you feel when you won that championship? What was the emotion? You would be confused as hell, just like I am, because it was all of them. I cried, I laughed, I felt this overwhelming sense to man, I wanted to show everybody. I couldn't wait to get to the back to take a picture. I wanted to call my family and put them on. I don't think I had FaceTime back then, but if I did, I would have used it. I was lost. I was completely out of my element for the first time in my life.
It looks to me in that picture as like, hey man, maybe not everybody else thought I was ever going to hold this thing, and maybe I didn't either, but I got it. Because I remember when I won that first one in 14 against Sean, and I held that thing up. Tyson was a referee. He quick counted, but man, when I held that belt up in the air, it was almost like you got that shit right. You, I mean, to everybody who had ever discounted me,
yeah.
And I was going to be the journeyman, and I was never going to be nobody. Came in as a ringmaster, was just going to be a mechanic. So when I won that belt, there was many emotions. But one of the biggest ones was, hey, man, that I proved a lot of motherfuckers wrong who said I was just never going to be a hill of beans.
You show me and JR in the ring together. When JR, I told you that I was going to be something in this business. When I sat in the office with you and Vince, and you told Vince, you know what, I think you ain't going to make it. I think you ought to cut your losses now, pay him whatever you owe him, and let him go on about his business, because I don't think that, I don't think it's going to work out.
That's all. I don't have to say nothing. Everything need to be said is right there. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity right now to apologize.
Mark, I apologize.
I hate ass kissers.
I grabbed his tie and I ringed it.
Come on, you hurt me.
And I squeezed and he's like, "You choking me?" And I said, "I know I'm choking you. Who am I? You're the world champion." "You're damn right I'm the world champion. You can breathe now."
So you was in a room when he said Vince should cut his losses.
Oh, yeah.
And so all those years later, you said, here's what's up.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I think you made your point.
Yeah, I think so. And there's nobody that I love more now than Jim Ross.
Yes.
Because he's been a mentor to me in radio, and he's one of the most descriptive storytellers that ever was. And he says, if you think about the people that you're talking to, not knowing anything, and you have to describe to them and make them see a big picture, the greatest people that ever were the baseball announcers in the 80s, because they could tell you a baseball game, the feel, what's going on, and how it's going just from them describing it to you. And that's what Jim told me to try to do. Try to describe and be descriptive and be overly descriptive. And the steel, tell them what kind of steel it is. Not tell them, look at the finish on the steel. Like, tell those stories and be descriptive. And I learned a lot from him.
I never heard it put like that. That makes a lot of sense.
I was taught. It wasn't because I just knew.
What was your favorite part about that run?
You know what my favorite part of it is? It's kind of like that old, where the tire meets the road. I was at the peak of my strength, and I came into the peak of my understanding of pro wrestling, and they both were balanced at that point. I could work with anybody, a broomstick if I had to, and I was still strong, like really strong. And there's a video of when that era started of me picking up Big Show. Big Show was 465, 470 at the time. And I picked him up to here, to my chest. And then when I went to give him the World's Strongest Slam, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna put him through this table. But what really happened is I had him here, and my face changed, and you see this, something come over me. And I picked him up over my head and spiked him through the table. And I remember getting to the back and Kane walking up to me and going, "Most impressive thing I ever saw in my life." He said, "I've never seen nothing like that." He said, "That was incredible." And he was like a kid, like reverence. And I realized that I could do stuff as a wrestler with my strength that people had never seen before.
Who was your favorite opponent and why?
Oh my God. Favorite, I would have to say The Undertaker, because I learned the most. And I'm a proponent, strong proponent of learning, even when people think that you have it all figured out. You can always learn something from somebody. And the fact that it was like going to a rock and roll show where it's like, just this constant, I can't explain it. There's no other wrestler that I've been in the ring with Flair and Hogan and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and you name a outstanding competitor. I've been in the ring with him, and it was never constant. And The Undertaker is constant. It's like he's above wrestling somehow. And I can scream as loud as I can scream, and you this close, you can't hear me.
Right.
I just love that feeling of being in the ring with him. As far as the most fun, it was Fit Finlay. I love working with him.
Yeah.
We had so much fun, man, that you could work 30 minutes and not even realize you've been in the ring that long. I mean, it was like you forget. You could just do anything.
Yeah.
And him and Jamie Noble, if Jamie Noble would have been 6 feet and 220 pounds, he would have been you.
Yeah.
He was special. I love working with him. Brilliant mind. Come up with like finishes and just telling stories. And I mean, just golly, I wish he would have been a bigger dude.
Now that you're doing what you're doing, and you go back and you mentor some people, you mentioned Keith Lee, who I'm really impressed by.
Yeah.
Just tremendous athletic skills for a guy that size. So, what have you told him, or how do you see his future? And that's undetermined because he's got to make his
He
future.
got a long way to go.
Agreed.
He was on a guest on Backstage, and I told him that he has brought back the big guy magic. And when I say the big guy magic, there have been guys that have transcended wrestling by their abilities for what size they are. And Bam Bam Bigelow doing cartwheels and drop kicks and going to the top and doing moonsaults. And people like Vader doing moonsaults at 400 pounds, and Big Show, who a lot of people have underestimated his abilities as a big man. I've seen him do drop kicks. I've seen him grab the rope and kip up.
Yeah.
And I mean, like where it just blows your mind that a human being that size can do something. And he's the next guy. He's the only guy that I've seen at that size that's able to do it. And he's bringing it back. And for a while, the WWE went to guys that were 6'2" and 250 pounds and less. He's going to bring back the big guy in pro wrestling because he's going to eat everybody else alive. And now it's going to be time for bigger guys to step up. And man, I love the fact that he's ushering that back in.
But like you said, he does have a ways to go. He's not there yet.
Yeah.
But he's got a whole lot of potential. Coming from Silsbee, Texas, coming up with a pretty rough life, you've been some rough spots, and to accomplish everything that you've accomplished. Any words of advice to any kids out there? Because I know you love kids, just as far as I believe in always telling kids, arm yourself with as much knowledge or education as possible. Don't take any shortcuts, but because you've lived everything, you've accomplished so much. Words of advice or motivation to anybody out there.
My number one thing would be humble yourself. My blessings came when I humbled myself. Unbridled power and arrogance, not so much. I had a lot of hard knocks, but once I humbled myself, things took off. And know what you don't know. Find somebody that knows more than you. Stop hanging in circles where you're the biggest fish. Like, don't feel intimidated by somebody's knowledge and strength and power and understanding. Tell them to teach you so you can become that guy, that girl. Ask for help.
Finally, my final question. What's in the future for Mark Henry? Will you continue with Busted Open Radio? Are there any other endeavors that you'd like to get into? I know you're raising 2 great kids, a great family. What's next for Mark Henry?
You know, man, I hope to get the sponsorship to be able to accomplish my days of service. I do a day of service where I partner with a famous beer company, Maestro's, and we go to certain communities that are troubled, and we shave people and cut their hair and give them clean T-shirts and build them up. You know, we said we started calling it the underbridge effort, because most of the people that we were reaching were the guys that was not going to the facilities where they can get help because they can't stand the structure. Some people are mentally ill. Some of them are drug addicted. Some of them work. I'm trying to help everybody without limits, without there being a cap. And, you know, I had the fortune to be able to go with Kane in Knoxville and did a day of service. And we serviced 250 people. And I want to do that all over America. And it's just going to take some funding. But outside of that, that's the thing that I want to do the most.
Everything else is cake.
Everything else is cake.
Hey, man. That's a handshake right there. This is Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. Thanks for watching the Broken Skull Sessions. And that's the bottom line, because I said so.